I want to share a story with you. I call it the ping pong story. It is the event that was probably the most profound to let me know that labels, I didn't use the word labels back then. I didn't know that I had been labeled, but but you wouldn't know it by looking at my resume as like or the things that I've accomplished that if you were to go back to my school records and my medical records, they say I'm mentally retarded and emotionally disturbed. But it's the truth. It's like they go back and they say that I'm mentally retarded and emotionally disturbed. And at my old elementary school, when it came to reading and grammar, it's like they had these cards that were different color category, and and depending on what level you were, is like depended on which card color that you took for your homework assignments. So everybody could see who was the slow people, who were average, and who were advanced. And then in addition to that, we had an advanced class. For the truly gifted, they had their own special classroom, and all the gifted students were in that class. And so I always wanted to hang out with them because they did the greatest things. It's like they launched, they did model rockets. They launched rockets into the sky. They did all kinds of scientific experiments. They had a ping pong table in their room. They got to play games. They just seemed to have all the fun. And I wanted so badly to be in that classroom. I wanted to do the things that they were doing. But of course, I was not one of the gifted kids according to my school. I was actually mentally retarded and emotionally disturbed. But to humor me, they would allow me to, during recess and lunch, I could go into that classroom and sit in the back of the classroom and watch what they did. I could watch the kids play. I couldn't play, I couldn't participate with them, but I was allowed to go into the classroom and just watch. So that's what I did. I decided that I would go and watch the smartest kids in my school. And and I guess now we would say that I was trying to seek like their intelligence through osmosis. I don't know. But whatever it was, is like I was determined that these were the people that I wanted to be around, and this is the classroom that I wanted to be in. I wanted to have fun. I wanted to do fun things, exciting things. And I knew that I wasn't mentally retarded or emotionally disturbed. It's like I knew I was smarter than what they always said. So I would go and I would sit in that classroom. And one day, the smartest kids in my class, they were playing ping pong. And someone hit the ping pong ball and it flew to the back of the room, and I was sitting on a counter, and the ball flew, hit the counter, and there was a sink back there, and it rolled into the sink. It's like, and into the little drain. It's like, so that little ping pong ball went into the sink and right into the drain. And the smartest kids in my school is like, of course, ran over to the sink to try to get the ping pong ball out. But when they tried to use brute force, it's like you could begin to hear it crackle. You hear that crackling sound. And as they were trying to pry it out. And the smartest kids in my school were stumped by how to get this ping pong ball out of the sink. And for me, it was blatantly obvious from the beginning. It's like, but I jumped up off the counter, and as I was watching kind of with amusement, and one kid was chewing gum and everything else, I just spoke up finally and said, I can get your ball out. I remember I go, excuse me, I can get your ball out. I can get your ball out. And and they looked at me and said, you can get the ball out? And I said, yeah, I can get the ball out for you. And they said, okay, sure, show me. Now, unbeknownst to them, to me, there were two things that could quickly be done. One, the kid that was chewing bubble gum, he could have taken out his bubble gum and just put it on the top of the ping pong ball and pulled it out. But obviously, the more easier way, the smartest and fastest way, was just to turn the water on in the sink and let the ball rise. And that's what I chose. It's like I went, I turned the water on, the ball rose, and I handed them their ball. And they were all amazed. It's like, wow, thank you. And one or two people said thank you. Other people just kind of walked away. And and they went and they resumed playing ping pong. And I went back to sitting at the back of the room, sitting on the sink, watching the smartest kids in our school, playing and experimenting and doing different things. But what I walked away from that experience was that I wasn't what other people said I was. I knew who I was. And in spite of what people said, I knew that I was smarter than what they said. I knew I was more capable than what they said. And if I could figure out how to get the ping pong ball out, you say that 3 times, ping pong ball, ping pong ball, ping pong ball, ping pong ball. Anyway, if I could get the ping pong ball out of the sink, it's like out of that little hole, and the smartest kids in my class couldn't. I couldn't be as dumb as everyone said that I was. I couldn't be as incapable as what everyone said I was. And so I walked away from that realizing that, you know what? No matter what label someone put on me, no matter what they said I was, no matter who they said I was much more than that. And I was equally, or if not greater, equipped to solve problems as like then the smartest kids in my school, or those that were labeled the smartest kids in my school. And so that's one thing. I mean, if there was one thing that I could share with you, is like to help you overcome all of the labels that have been placed upon you, is to have you experience the impact of what that experience was for me. And that's how I went from someone who was labeled mentally retarded and emotionally disturbed. If I had believed them, where would I be today? Would I have traveled the world? Would I be advising and giving lectures or speeches at the State Department? Would I have ambassadors coming and talking to me? Would I be advising heads of state? Would I be advising is like all the incredible people, both laymen and professionals that I've been able to advise and counsel over the years? If I had listened to them, the answer is clearly no. It's like maybe I would just be kind of sitting in a corner somewhere. I don't know. But what I know is I don't want that for you. I don't want you to continue to suffer from labels that have been placed upon you. I don't want you to be restricted by labels or false beliefs that other people had for you that aren't you. See, I knew who I was. I knew who Eric Anthony Jones was. I knew who I was. They didn't. And that may be true for you too. There may be people who say this about you, say that about you, but you know deep down inside of your heart, that's not who you are. That's not what you are. Nobody knows who you are but you. Nobody can tell you who you are. No one can. And so my promise to you is that I want to hear you. I want to listen to you. I want to know who you are. And so if you take this journey with me, I will listen to you. I will know your story. We will know one another. And together I will help empower you to help yourself rediscover that joy and that belief inside of you, whatever it is, to make you believe in what it was that you've let go that has you not being fulfilled, that has you not living your dreams, that has you not living that life that you know you were born to live, doing those things you know you were born to do. And whether you're impacting the world by that thing, or whether you're impacting just your community,